Hey everybody, welcome to It's Still Me. Although I did tighten my bun, so I feel like, really geared up for this one. Um, so I was asked a question about sex in writing, in the writing context. Should be clear. Um, and I thought I would just go ahead and share a little about how I came to write the books that I write, at least in this one aspect of the books is this aspect. So I should tell you right away that yes, my actual person, it's kind of funny. I don't even wear open-toed shoes. I'm weirdly buttoned down, buttoned up. Uh, that's who I am. Not a. So remember who we are on the page, or our characters, who the characters are on the page, doesn't always reflect who you're looking at. And I have met so many amazing romance authors that look like Sunday school teachers and that were Sunday school teachers. So, wow. You never know who you're looking at. You never know. But I wanted to just share with you, some people are asking about that shyness, like you're sort of approaching. It's like, come on. We're not all free flowing on the page, and it can be a little daunting, sex scenes. And so people are like, yikes. Um, because you have to think of yourself like reading it out loud, which is, which is part of this great story. So here's how it happened, how I went the direction. I had been writing romance, sort of. I drafted a couple, and they were very sweet, is what we would say. A sweet romance. You're very much, it's off the page, kind of Barbara Cartland. You're just building up to a kiss, and then we just leave the rest of it to imagination. So I was at a convention. I was at a romance convention, and the people were going to talk about sex. And I was very kind of thrilled. I was expecting it to be really naughty and just fabulous. And I just felt very grown up being in that room. And I was with a dear friend or frenemy. I don't know how to describe her, but I do. I love her to this day. I don't know how she feels about me. But she said something snarky about how I shouldn't have been in the room because I was so repressed. And she pretty much indicated that maybe I should just go to the potpourri. There's like an aromatherapy talk, or there was something else about, lace making, whatever it was. I didn't need to be in the room where they were going to now discuss the hot sex. And I was very offended. And one of my biggest character flaws is my inability to turn down a challenge. I have like this competitive thing. So, somebody dares you or tells you you can't do a thing. Suddenly that is on my bucket list. And then when they double dog dare you, it's like, oh, it's happening now. So basically, I was informed I could not write a good sex scene. And at that point, the gloves are off. So, anyway, there was a double dog dare. I'm not going to say, but there may have been some rum and coke. I do love a Cooper Libre. I do love a little lime in there. Anyway, there might have been some alcohol involved. I accepted a challenge. There was another author a table over that overheard. And suddenly the dare became public. We were going to post a love scene on her website, and she was big time. So her fans were then going to judge who wrote the hotter sex scene. And that was it. I was all in. No holds barred. As a result of that outcome, because it was a lot of fun, I won, by the way, thank you. A landslide victory. An actual landslide victory, not a I lost and I pretended. Anyway, I actually won. So, but then something really interesting happened. Oh, hi, thank you. A reader, a fan of hers, said, that's a great first chapter. Where's the rest of that book? And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? First chapter? That's, can you do that? So then that was, again, boom, I'm competitive. Because if you're told no, you can't give that away in you have to build to that. There has to be a build. That's the rule. And I decided, but what if you could write a romance novel slightly backwards? What if you could have an amazing moment and then shift back and then do an emotional backfill? And that became A Lady's Pleasure is the name of that book. It was A Widow's Pleasure was my title, but publisher did not like the word widow. They thought that was not sexy. I thought it was very sexy, but what do I know? Anyway, A Lady's Pleasure. And it was a giant double dog dare. And I wrote it just to spite somebody, to prove that I could write a really, really steamy novel. And it turns out that was the breakthrough novel for me, that all of a sudden I'd gotten an agent, I got noticed, I had, it was like, wow. I love it. It's been translated into multiple languages. My favorite translation, though, is the Japanese one. Let's see. So, A Lady's Pleasure. And this is the original cover you can see on the back there. Yes, he is holding a riding crop. Why? I don't know. Nobody gets hit with or do they? Maybe you should read that book. Anyway, X-rated. Just let everybody know. But here's the thing about it. Is I wrote it on a double dog dare. That will only sustain you for so long. And I really did not want to maintain that level of, which is sad, because if I had, gosh, I'd be a millionaire today. Darn. But you have to be true to yourself. You have to write to the heat level that you're comfortable with. And you can't always get drunk and accept a bet. Or can you? Hemingway drank a lot. Alcohol could be involved. In any case, sex, you're allowed to get outside your comfort zone. And I guess that's the point of the story, is that I was in my comfort zone and that was not working necessarily. But by writing beyond where I thought I could write, even at my most, I could do this. Like I really went there. It opened a lot of doors for me. And then I was able to find my spot, my sweet spot. Sounded a little naughty. Which is, I didn't really want to be too far into the, as much as I admired those writers that were doing it well, not the writers that were not doing it well. And I'm talking about. I wanted to be close to that line, but not over it. For me, it still has to be super emotional, but I do love a good, sensual, great story. And it just has to be correct. It has to be right for those characters. So, yeah. So if you're looking for a sweet read, Renee Bernard is not the author you're probably after. Although the Duchess Club series is PG. So not X or R. So I could let you read those. Like I'm limiting you. Did I have a point? I think I did at some point. I'm sorry. It's a really awkward topic for the closed toe shoe wearing woman. But I am only sharing this because I want you to know you might have it in you and not know. And I don't want you to ever limit yourself. At the same time, you do have to respect your internal boundaries. So if you are using a lot of euphemisms, if you can't say words and you're just like yada, 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 then sex is not for you. In the books, sex is not for you. So you really do have to sort of embrace it head on. Everything I say sounds filthy. it's never going to be easy. There are very few authors, I think, that can just, you know, free flow those scenes. It is a certain mindset and personality that can, and God bless them. For those of us who struggle, again, you're gonna choreograph it like a fight or an action sequence. You're gonna make sure it lines up with your characters and your dialogue, and and there might be a little alcohol involved. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, so good luck. And again, if you have any writing challenges, feel free to share and we'll cover that in another video. But for right now, I hope everybody's staying right on track. Bye.